Hi, I am going to make a video showing how we can download GitKraken and work with Eclipse to upload and download our files to GitHub. So what I've done is I've got a portable, I have a virtual computer here. This is a Windows 8 computer right here. And let me just pause it. And it's running in VirtualBox, so this is here. It's a fairly small computer because I only gave it 2.5 gig of RAM and 2 CPUs, but I think that should still be enough to get everything to work. I'm using Java 8 and Eclipse Portable Oxygen, which I just downloaded. And if we go back to the desktop, they're there. I installed them. Eclipse Portable Oxygen, you go into it. Your workspaces are in here under Data Workspace, and that's what I have. So I'll start this up. The next thing I want to do while this is starting up is I want to download and install GitKraken. So we're just going to download it here. So I went to gitkraken.com. And that will take a little time to get downloaded. Okay, good. So let's save that and see what happens. It would be kind of cool if this was the same size as my window. Okay, anyway, so this is downloading. I have Eclipse here, and just showing that it's running. So it runs and everything works fine there. I'm going to make a new package. This testing stuff, and in here, I'm going to say, okay. I have to make some sort of package, and normally our package names are a little bit smarter than that, like saying what they are. This is for GitHub. It's a terrible name, but anyway, I'm just saying what I'm going to do with this. So program 1, and so there's my program. Obviously it runs. Okay. Now there's two ways of doing this. You can actually get your whole Java project to be connected to GitHub, or just one package. I'm going to do one package first. Let's see what's happening here. I thought I downloaded this thing. I did download it. Okay, let's run the setup program. So in this situation, we're starting with something on our Eclipse workspace, and then we're going to be putting it onto GitHub. Now to do this, you already need to have a GitHub account. So while this thing is just loading, I'll switch over here, find my GitHub account. Here. Okay, so I'm logged in, and I have some repositories. That was a test one I did a few days ago, and we're going to see if we can get this working. Let me just pause this until it's done. one thing before I pause it, GitKraken is a very handy interface to hook up with a program called Git. Git is something called a source code control system. Okay. So Git is a source code control system. There's two of them. There's Git. I think the other one is called SVN. And Git will live on your own computer, as well as on GitHub, as well as in other places. So Eclipse understands this. GitKraken understands this. So basically, the flow will be Eclipse to GitKraken to GitHub. Okay, and so you do this at school, and then at home, you'd reverse it. And then you would just reverse it again at home. So you make some changes. Okay, so at school we push stuff up here, and then when you get back to school, you would just, anyway, you basically get the thing. You go from Eclipse to GitKraken to GitHub and then back and forth, okay? And GitHub is a cloud-based. So GitHub is cloud-based, and that is where your code works. It's more than just a Dropbox. It actually, we will see, it keeps track of all of the changes you've made, because it controls your source code. It keeps track of all the changes you've made, and it also will keep track of multiple people working on the same program. So we will end up with that a little bit later. So now I've got to sign in with GitHub, which is going to be a bit of a pain, and I'm going to pause this here. Oh, it looks like it's still recording. Well, that's totally fine. So it's still going. We are done with Firefox. Okay, I need to make a profile. I'm going to call myself, or I could just call it default. Doesn't really matter. And I'm using the same email address that I'm using on GitHub. That's the email address that I made my GitHub account with, and you can choose your icon. Okay. Now, let me see if I can get this part right. So we have GitKraken, and we have Eclipse. And I want this part here to be connected to GitKraken. So let's say, start a local repo. Nope. Let's say, okay, I'm going to open a repo. So I'm going to go to the desktop, find my workspace, find just testing stuff, source file, this one, or GitHub. Now what's going to happen here? Nope, it's not going to work. So let's see. I wish this pause thing would work. Let me just see what I did here. It's not pausing. Okay, I remembered what I did. So we go to start a local repo. Yes, here we have to go to github.com. That's the one we need. So select your account. I think this is the name. So let's just say where to clone to. This is going to look at boy. This is, okay, and under the src folder, so I clicked on the src folder, and inside this src folder is the folder called for GitHub. So I'll type that in here. Okay. So that's the name of my repository. And this is just testing stuff, okay? You can call your branch main. It used to be called master, that's why this is here. And if you have a git ignore, it would be nice to have an Eclipse one here, but we don't have that, so we're just going to ignore that. So let's create repository and clone and see what happens here. Okay, it exists, it's not an empty directory. Okay, so they want me to create a new empty directory here. Let's try this again. github.com. Select that name. I have no idea. Oh, here we go. So when we put the name here, this is going to be the name of our repository. Okay, so it's actually putting in the right spot. This has to be, yes, okay, it remembers where I browsed to last time, so it's putting it inside the src folder, and it's going to create something called GitHub testing. Now the repository name is a capital letter, which means that this thing will be a capital here too, which is not really recommended for Java, but we don't really care. I'm going to leave that, actually I'm going to call this master, just see if this works. Okay, it works. This is great. It's made it, and this little icon is my GitHub icon, which that's me on GitHub. And it is showing that it's actually put it up onto GitHub. So if I go to GitHub and reload this, there we go, GitHub testing. So it made this on GitHub, and it also made this in Eclipse. Let's hit F5 is refresh. F5 is not refresh. Refresh. Okay, GitHub testing. So that is here. And what I can do is I can make a class here. And I will say first program. And we're always going to delete this because that's just really annoying. So finally, something is working. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say program to demonstrate So this is my program to demonstrate Git and GitKraken, and I've got that here, and I've saved it. I have to save it. Star's gone away, and now, if you look at GitKraken, this says WIP. That means work in progress. So I'm going to click on that, and you can see what's been done. It will show you the differences. So all the green stuff is new stuff. Where did I come from back here? I like that tree view wherever it was. There we go. Okay, so we go here, work in progress. What you have to do is you stage all changes, that puts them into the staging area, and then you have to commit them, which means writing a commit message. So this is initial commit. Okay, oh, that was the initial commit, whatever. Okay, whatever. So I commit it, and then I push it, which means I upload it to GitHub. So over here is GitHub. Let's look at GitHub testing. The initial commit just made this readme MD file, which is telling you what's happening. Anyway, never mind about that. So this pushed it, and these two are now lined up. And if I reload this, you can see there's my first program Java. So now this is on the cloud, okay? And what I can do is I can go to my Eclipse somewhere else, I can edit this on the cloud. So let me just edit here. So I'm just going to say this line was edited on GitHub. Okay. So I've got that, and I'm going to commit it. So I'm going to explain what I did here. So demonstrate and edit. Okay, good. There. So now GitHub testing is here. If I go back to this one and I hit refresh, it should find out that I made a change there. Okay, fetch all. There we go. So it says, look, see, I was online somewhere else. I could have been in another continent. I could have been at home, and I demonstrate and edit. My current thing here just says that. That's my program here. GitKraken needs to grab it from the cloud, so hit pull. And now my local branch, which is this computer, is synchronized with my remote branch. And as soon as it pulls, it updates Eclipse right here. Okay, so this is pretty good. Now what I want to do is edit it in a different version of Eclipse. I think we have this working quite well. So this for GitHub thing just didn't work. I'm going to delete that. But we used GitKraken and made a new repository. So let's see if I can do that over here as well. This is my Linux computer. Just to make things go faster, I'm going to freeze this computer here. Okay. So GitKraken. Let's move this to another screen. Sign in with GitHub. I don't know why I have to do this, but anyway. Okay. Great, we will save changes. I don't need the release notes. I don't want this repository. I want to make a new one. Nope. Edit. So make a new repository. Oh, something is wrong here. It doesn't know that I'm Salamander 2. Anyway, let me just fix this up here. Okay, I think I have fixed the problem. I'm sorry that this video is getting so long. Had to reinstall GitKraken. So now I am at a different computer. So pretend this is a different computer. Computer number 1 is a Windows computer, so this might be at school, and then the different computer might be at home. So because I've already created the repository and uploaded, it's called GitHub testing, which should be lowercase. I'm going to hit clone a repo. And where am I going to clone it to? I just have to find where my Eclipse is, which is going to be a little hard to find. Eclipse 2. I'm going to put it in ICS4U1 in the source folder again. Now let me just make sure it ends in SRC. Good. And it is actually a github.com one. So I'm cloning it, and it's still ending in SRC, and it was called something testing. GitHub testing, that's it here. Okay, so that's what I wanted to. And if I hit clone the repo, it should be done. Now when I look at my Eclipse, this was in ICS SRC. Let me refresh this. GitHub testing is here. Okay, here's my program, and now I'm going to say I am now editing this program at home. then I'll upload it, and when I get to school, I can download it. There, okay. That's great. So this is, let me save it, go to my GitKraken. Oh boy. Okay, work in progress. So this is everything that's been done so far. You can see whatever's been done here. Work in progress, first program. So you can see what it looks like now. I added the green stuff in here, okay? So a stage, summary, added Google. I'm not really adding anything. So my local file is here. My remote file is not synchronized with it. So you hit push. It's now pushed. It's synchronized. I can check it here. And there. So now it's online. Now what I do is I go to school. Here's my school computer. And it's not there. So I go to GitKraken and I hit pull. And it finds it. It automatically synchronizes it. Go back to Eclipse. Eclipse says, hey, something's happened. Do you want to change it? Yes, I do. There we are. So that is a really handy way of moving stuff back and forth. If I wanted to synchronize the whole, this is just synchronizing one package. If I wanted to synchronize the whole Java project, you can do that. But to synchronize the whole Java project, you have to make sure that the Eclipse workspace files over here do not mess up the Eclipse workspace files over here. You also have to be using the same version of Java, probably. Maybe not. Okay, this is Java 1.8. I should have used a different version of Java. That's also 1.8. To avoid the Eclipse files being messed up, you have to add something called a Eclipse gitignore. So if I just copy this,